Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. It is round number 3 here of the Abruzzi Tin Top Sprint. We have arrived in the north of Milan in Monza at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, known as the Temple of Speed. Around here, a 3.6 mile circuit for our drivers to tackle. My name is Adam Reed. I'll be the only one in the commentary box tonight. And it does look like it is going to be an interesting qualifying session as our drivers look to head around this fantastic, historic circuit which has hosted so many incredible races from Formula One, World Endurance Championship, GT World Challenge, and so much more. Let's get on to the calendar for tonight, so I can show you what we've had already, what we've already unpacked, and what we are still yet to pack. The Circuito de Jerez was the starter point for our Abruzzi Tin Top Sprint drivers before heading over to America for VIR. What an interesting set of results that threw up. We'll get into those in just a moment. So then we go into Monza for tonight before we then head next week to the mountain of Mount Panorama in Bathurst. We'll then set ourselves to America once again for the second time. We take on the Long Beach Street Circuit. How beautiful is that going to be for rounding off the championship at the Interlagos Circuit? Home of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and what a place to do it. An amazing 6 round calendar that we've had. Yeah, let's head into the standings in just a bit. There is Jamie Nuttall in the Porsche Cup standings, head of the championship, ahead of Pavel Grishka with Janis Spenzel and Bobby Moss, who took home a fantastic pole position last time around, but he wasn't able to contend that into win. That went to Pavel Grishka. Then we find Martin Blankenstein, the Danish driver who entered his only race so far. He's come third. Charlie Rudnicki, followed by Khan Nagayan, the two Polish drivers in 6th and 7th, with Daniel Roberts and Bjorn Elgin Kalseth, with James Radford and Josh Hodson. Simon Norton and Samuel Kremers, the second of 2 German drivers in this field. What can he do from 13th? With Lenny Hansen, Alex Richards, Mikola Iwanski, with Tony Preston, Diogo Marquez of Guernsey, Milos Mereski, and Martin Tiska. Rounding off, your top 20, Adam Sinecki, Louis Hesketh, and Piotr Dorabala. Rounding off your 23 cars that are taking to this championship. We have a look at the TCR standings very quickly. Tom Davidson is on top here. He took a first and second so far. But it was the same story for Craig Tordot, with the fastest lap coming in for Tom Davidson. That was kind of the big point in that stage. That is the reason why he's ahead. Andrew Pike followed by Mav Gardner. It's a great set of results for the Sim Racing Collective Esports team. They round out the top 6 with Quinton van Weinhardt and Nick Clibbens. Vincenzo Sagnito, the first of 6 Italians in the standings. He's 6th and 7th with Byron Forrest, Mauro Gabbiati, and Paolo Miniti, followed by Paul Smith and Daniel Merchant, with Daniel Bull and Paul Sims, Gareth Ronda, Fabio Falci on solo, and then Francesco Caduolo and Antonio Morabito, the 19 drivers to take part in this championship so far. So here we are into qualifying, and it is a little bit moist, as the drivers have said already in chat. As he now skip our way. So the qualifying is 10 minutes. We've already cut our way into half of this session already. It does look to be Pavel Grishka at the top of the standings in the Porsche Cup. This would be his first pole position. The first 2 taken by Jamie Nuttall and Bobby Moss. Nuttall in the opening round of a ref. And Bobby Moss most recently at VIR. You can see the spray coming from the skies as Jamie Nuttall goes underneath the bridge of the old banking here at Monza. What an incredible piece of circuit that used to be. Of course, incredibly dangerous, incredibly sketchy, similar to the conditions that we have now. But wow, what an eventful session we have upon ourselves. So keep an eye out for the rain throughout this session. It could be hitting at any point during this qualifying session and the race session, which will be a 40-minute race ahead of us. Jamie Nuttall will go round the curve of Michele Alboreto, and it looks like James Radford goes to the top. Bobby Moss now goes ahead with Wenzel heading into second. Now Nuttall will go over the line here. It's going to be what I believe is the second line. Charlie Rudnicki goes to P1, and looks like Nuttall did not manage to get a time, as it looks like it could be good. It's going to be Craig Twardock in the TCRs in his Audi to go over the timing line. He's currently sitting a 10th above current championship leader Tom Davidson. Both of the title contenders at the top of both standings of the Porsche and TCR Cup, both separated by a point. So I'll be interested to see how this kind of all comes to plan. But it's been a little bit more kind of right up top for TCR. Tom Davidson a first and a second with the fastest lap. Craig Twardock a second and a first. That is how close they are going to be between each other. Martin Blankensteiner, third place last time at VIR, the Virginia International Raceway. He is looking to go and improve his spot, which is currently on the 6th row of the grid. That's going to be potentially improved. No, it's not, because he's still just out there and sitting down in P12. So he's going to have to now try and find some improvements around a very, very tricky circuit. If you want to know numbers, we have a lot of drivers on the grid. We kind of got into the server and I was like, yeah, it's going to be simply, what, 24? No, I was completely wrong about that. 33 cars are going to be on this field here for the third round of the championship in Monza. I wonder if that's going to get increased or decreased when we head to the next round at Bathurst. But Tom Davidson now looking to try and head over the line. He is a 10th shy here of his teammate Craig Twardock. And what is the potential here that Davidson can potentially do something? He's cutting himself right across the grass and the gravel, and I think he's backed out of this lap here, so there will be potentially one more lap in the making. What about Daniel Merchant in P10, currently sitting on the 5th row of the grid in the TCR class? Fastest lap for the Porsche Cup, currently with Charlie Rudnicki with a 1:48.397. So yeah, it's all about getting the tyre temperature in this one. Nick Clibbins over the timing beam. Where is he going to go? Stays third fastest, in fact. So not too many improvements there for Nick Clibbins, but it's going to be Twardock ahead of Davidson. Both of them in the pit lane, as far as I'm aware, unless Davidson has gone back out, which I think he has not. So just checking my my tracker here. Daniel Merchant goes to P9, in fact. So there's already some more improvements there. What about Paul Sims in P14? He's right near the back. He's just behind the two Italians instead. In fact, the highest Italian being Vincenzo Stagnito in his Hyundai Quattro. No, sorry. Yeah, in just his Hyundai. Currently in P4, splitting up the TSRC esports drivers. Where will Paul Sims go as he crosses the timing line from 14th? Stays 14th. So no improvements there from Paul Sims. It looks like the rain is just starting to die off just that little bit here. But I think qualifying is now done and dusted. Everyone has done their 3 laps that they needed to do. And then they will go about through this qualifying session. We will bring you the grid the quickest that we can. But you're just seeing now a new pole sitter to this championship. It is going to be Charlie Rudnicki in the Porsche Cup. The first time, or should I say that the first time? We've definitely now got 3 different pole sitters the first 3 races. So that is going to be a huge moment in this one. The rain continuing to flood down on the circuit. So just keep an eye out for everything in terms of weather and where the puddles are going to be. But here is your grid there. And Charlie Rudnicki will be on pole position ahead of Bobby Moss, who'll be joining him on the front row. His fellow compatriot Adam Sinecki will be in P3, seemingly enjoying those Porsche Cup cars ahead of Janos Wenzel and James Radford. Piotr Dorobiala and Pavel Grishka. So that's 4 Polish drivers in the top 7, 1 on each row. Simon Norton will be in P8 alongside Martin Blankensteiner and Samuel Kremers. With Mikola Iwanski and Khan Nugayan on the 6th row of the grid, an all Polish row. Then we will move further down onto row 7. We will find Lenny Hansen ahead of Tony Preston with Diogo Marquez and Jamie Nuttall from P16. He didn't get a lap in, neither did Josh Hodson. Then we move on to our pole sitter for the TCRs. It's Craig Twardok for the 2nd time in the Sim Racing Collective Tin Top Sprint Championship. How can he go from pole position? He's got Tom Davis alongside him with Nick Clibbins in P20. Vincenzo Sagnito managing to keep his 4th place in the end. He's going to be lining up alongside Quinten van Weingarten. Then we find Andrew Pike alongside Mav Gardner. 3rd place in the championship is the Scotsman, 1 podium to his name. He will look to try and maybe get another one in this season here at the famous Monza circuit. Byron Forrest will be alongside Daniel Merchant with Mauro Gabbiati and Daniel Bull. Gareth Ronda and Paul Smith round out P30 with Paul Sims, Francesco Carduolo and Antonio Morabito. Being the final drivers in this grid. As I said, 33 cars will take to the timing grid, and we are about to go to green here. The rain will very much be a factor with us throughout this entire 40 minutes, so keep an eye out for what the drivers decide to do. There's been a couple of murmurings here and there. I've heard a couple of things in my ears of, these drivers won't have to go onto slick tires. They might not be able to change tires. But I think with the surface you're seeing at the moment, look at the bottom of your screen. It's reflective. I think that gives a great sign of what tires these drivers should be on, and it should be full wet tires, the best that they can get to maximize the grip around this circuit. Otherwise, you could be finding yourself in a very, very tricky situation. So the Porsche Cayman will glide off from the back straight here before they'll head in towards Ascari. Try and get all the tyre temperature that they can down that back straight before heading into Curva Michele Alboreto and into such a difficult place here. Turn number 1. Let's get your comments in chat. We've already set the poll up. Will there be carnage in towards that first corner? I've just been a little bit biased, but 68% of you have said yes, there will. 40% say no. I'd love to know what you 40% are thinking. More supports coming in for Charlie Rudnicki. The pole sitter has absolutely done it as well. I reckon mid-pack pile-up are the comments section. So a lot of predictions being placed down on the table, with the chips are about to be flicked and put down on this table, but it's going to be all about what these drivers can do in the end here. So with the 40 minutes about to go up on the clock, we are going to be heading towards the green flag here. Round 4 of the Abruzzi Tin Top Sprint Championship. We're about to go green here in Monza for round 3. Lights are on the gantry. We go racing here at Monza, and the spray immediately getting kicked up here, being led by Charlie Rudnicki, but it's about the braking down towards the first corner. Who is that getting slightly twitchy off the 5 red lights? I think that might be Janos Wenzel, the German driver in the 313. They'll crawl their way around turns 1 and 2 as we see the TCRs getting unleashed. Bobby Moss has taken the lead. Oh, there's a big accident there. Nick Clippens, and that's going to be Tom Davidson. All cars are off. That's 3 cars are off. Is that going to be Craig Twarnock as well? Unbelievable scenes in this opening race here. Looks like Tom Davidson has managed to get going. I think that's going to be a crawling Nick Clippens. And there's a Porsche of Diogo Marquez. So the 86% in the pole will absolutely bang on. It happened in that TCR pack, but my goodness, one of them is also pulling off the road, it seemed like. Is that going to be Antonio Morabito? It is in his home race. 3 corners in, deciding to go back to the pit lane. As it looks like Mauro Gabbiati in the orange, white and yellow Hyundai is up into 4th place. Vincenzo Sagnito on the podium. So big moments here for the Italian. But my goodness me, that is, I think, a clip already. But for sure, I think maybe that might get shown in the highlights here of the Sim Racing Collective. And we look back to our Porsches here. Josh Hodson looking to try and maybe make a defensive maneuver here. But I think it should be overtaken there. And outside the top 10, he will go. Oh, cars off in the background. Multiple cars off in the background there on the exit of Ascari. Looks like Mikola Iwanski might be one of those. I think it's also Tony Preston who's gone off the road. It looks to be, and I wonder if that car is slightly damaged at some point. I haven't seen any kind of noticeable angles on the car. It looks like Simon Norton is into the pits. Into the pits comes Piotr Dorobiala as well, and Mikola Iwanski. The TCRs are making their way through, and Tom Davidson somehow managing to keep that on the racetrack. How close is this going to be for him? And he's coming into the pit lane. He senses damage. Tom Davidson, the championship leader in the TCR class, is going into pit lane in these very, very early stages. Unbelievable scenes here at the Parco di Monza. Oh, that's going to be Mauro Gabbiati, one of the privateer drivers. Oh, big hit in the rear. That looks to be the 148 there. I think it's been tagged. Or that might be Daniel Ball, and Byron Forrest getting in towards contact. Just a lack of braking power. It was Daniel Ball, in fact, after all of that. Oh, and he's going to be pulling over to the side. He thinks his race is done and dusted. Something is broken on that Hyundai, and that is a huge blow to so many drivers already. Morabito is out, Ball is out. That's 2 drivers already out. Multiple cars with damage, and I am completely flabbergasted. So in terms of the biggest skaters, oh wait, we got Piotr Dorobiala trying to make his way through the field once again. So I think he may have had a couple of errors here and there. Big reactions in chat as well, and someone did go bowling into turn 1. If you are in the Sim Racing Collective Discord, oh dear, more carnage. Porsche in the wall, Hyundai in the wall. Who's that gonna be? Oh, someone's reversing off the track there. It's Paul Smith, my apologies, in the 33 cracked racing car. Somebody's got around in the background. That's gonna be, I think, Byron Forrest once again, tired down for what seems to be Paul Smith, my apologies. Yeah, 2 Pauls in there, and in fact he's gone round once again as Paul Smith. This is unbelievable stuff, and I think he's already called it a day. So already even more carnage. I try and say one thing and another thing happens. Biggest gainers then. Let's have a look in the field. It looks like up 9. But none other than Jamie Nuttall. He's gone from pretty much 16th to 9th. Now 7th. 7th he's up to. There he is in the Cracks Racing car. Just behind his teammate Martin Blankensteiner, who's gone up 3 since the start. But of course, Nuttall is not all alone here. Josh Hodson has gone up 9 as well. So they've gone from the back of the field. And there goes Jamie Nuttall. Unless Martin Blankenstein is now going to go around the outside here of Samuel Kremers. The German driver looks to be slightly struggling. He did a 2:07 last time around. But also the likes of Runicki and Sinecki, the 2 Polish drivers in 3rd and 4th, did 2:08s last time around. But there's just something about these cracked racing drivers. They're really being able to push through the field. You know, Blankenstein had a slow first lap trying to avoid all the chaos, but Jamie Nuttall has been absolutely on it here. Samuel Kremers has a bit of an off-road moment. That could have been all sorts of Larry. Oh dear, that's under the grass. Save it, save it, save it. Oh my goodness me. Was that, I think that might have been Lenny, was that Lenny Hansen? Potentially with that Charlie Rudnicki. Sorry, my apologies. That was somebody else right up toward the top of the end. I think, in fact, that was Adam Sinecki. Somebody's gone around in the background as well. We now look to Lenny Hansen, who I think has actually gone a little bit wide here. There is Charlie Rudnicki powering down the straight. And I think it's one of the TCRs here. Look at the spray riding on board with Rudnicki. He cannot see a thing into the standing water. He's gone straight on. He's gone straight on in the 969. He's cutting the corner, and I think he'll slow down on that one on purpose. But my goodness me, this is just a paddling pool. I'm just having a look at some of the scenes around the circuit. This is Diogo Marquez. This is of the exit of turns 2. Just catches a little bit of the white paint. Oh, is he going to get hit? Oh, very, very lucky there for Diogo Marquez. But then he's going to get the stream of TCRs coming through. But here we go. Tom Davidson there on your right, I think being challenged. And oh dear, it's that 3rd place car on the left-hand side. And no braking power for what seemed like to be Craig Twardock. If we can get another shot of you know, the other drivers in that scene, because that was just absolutely madness. Then we just see dropping place. This is Quinten van Wijngaard, and you just see up ahead here. Oh, big snap there from the Hyundai, and he goes spinning like a spinning top, and just stopped in the middle of the circuit. Does he get hit? Does he get hit? I'm waiting for a big old whack to the side. I'm very lucky it doesn't happen for the Dutchman. He decides to go the kind of the safer path as well. This was Pavel Grishka. Let's have a look. Oh, just catches the grass, bang, into the back of another Porsche. There's someone else, one of his teammates, who has gone off in the background as well. You just saw the one of the purple stripes. You can see, wow, that is a slippery Porsche that is managing to just glide along the road surface. Now we have a look at the rejoin here of Quinten van Wijngaard. So that was off turn number 1, where he just went straight on. This is going to be Lenny Hansen braking very, very early. And then, oh my word, that is unbelievable scenes. He was tippy-toeing. Oh no. Oh, we just then hit another car. That's one of the cracked, I think that's one of the cracked racing team cars. That might be, I'm not going to point any fingers just in case I actually do not know in this scenario. But Lenny Hansen has had a bit of a torrid time. What about Byron Forrest catching a little bit of standing water? Oh my goodness me, they just all pile in. And Byron Forrest was a bit of an innocent bystander in that. And this is Paul Sims just working his way through the carnage that's just unfolded, thinking, what on earth has happened here? This is unbelievable. So much carnage. What about Khan Nagayan? Struggling to get the traction down, out onto the marbles, gets onto Yasho, bang into the barrier, and the Polish driver is facing sideways, 90 degrees as well. That's going to be awful moments there for the guy. But back with the live action. Suddenly, just like that, Jamie Nuttall is up to P4, having a bit of a moment in the background. That looks like now that's Sam Kremers. Sam Kremers has managed to push his way forward, and that's Nuttall off into the gravel. Got a little bit of a biff there from Janos Wenzel, the German driver, the privateer in the 313. He's just managed to get away with it, but Nuttall has dropped all the way down to 6th, past Sinecki as well. Meanwhile, his teammate Blankensteiner is up to P3, but look at Wenzel there. Oh, who's gone off? That looks to be Adam Sinecki. Adam Sinecki's gone off. Oh dear, in the what seems to be the Kudat's crew. Oh gosh, my word, Jamie Nuttall wide once again. It is just, I can't describe it to you. It is just, it's like taking your road car and putting it in a paddling pool or a swimming pool. I mean, you've got absolutely nothing. You're just drifting around in rain. You know, the rain is more taking control than these drivers are, it seemed like. And that's no kind of, you know, downplaying of these drivers' skills, because we've got some very skilled drivers. It just is what it must feel like, because there is Paul Sims off the road. Goes one of our Porsche drivers, the 79 there, Simon Norton, who's already made a pit stop in this race, struggling to get the traction down. He's just putting his throttle, his foot on the throttle, and the tyre just spinning up, and that's not what you need at all. This is again Charlie Rudnicki and the Kudat's crew are starting to get a little bit close for comfort here. They fill out 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th at the moment. So that's Rudnicki being caught here by Stanicki, the 5 Polish drivers in a row, down to 14th. Of course, Khan Nagayan driving for the Driver Lounge Racing. He's now into the pits and being overtaken there by Simon Norton, but in towards the Della Rocha chicane. Oh, it looks like Rudnicki just cannot seem to find the grip. So whilst it seems like the action has kind of calmed down a little bit, I'll let you know Bobby Moss is in the lead of this of the Porsche cars. 2 minutes 6 is his the best lap of all time, and he has got that right now. Samuel Kremers from Janos Wenzel, but that's now changed to Jamie Nuttall, who's gone up 13 places. He's having a battle down in towards Curva Michele Alboreto, and that's the exact battle we are picking up. Meanwhile, his teammates Martin Blankensteiner 5th, followed by Pavel Grishka, who's seemingly struggling right down there. He's 25 seconds of Bobby Moss as well, which is going to be not where he wants to be whatsoever. What about James Radford in 7th, Lenny Hansen, Josh Hodgson and Adam Sinecki now rounding out the top 10. Charlie Rudnicki has moved down to P11, followed by Piotr Dorobiala. Oh my goodness me, Janos Wenzel might need a change of underwear when he gets into his pit lane. Yeah, it looks like tyres won't be the only thing that he's going to be having to change. So the German driver will now look to push on, and is that a pit stop or a retirement here for Martin Blankensteiner? Blankensteiner's dropped to 16th here in the field. He's not moving. Has he had an accident, I wonder? The Danish driver who got a podium last time out in Virginia may just be going to retirement. Oh, that's going to be so harsh. Meanwhile, Rudnicki has got a back ahead of Sinecki, and Dorobiala's even gone past him. Changes being made all throughout. Iwanski, Norton, Nagayan, Preston round out the only driver still on the racetrack. And there, look at the bumper there of Pavel Grishka. That is caved in, and I think that's going to be happening on the exit of Ascari. I think that's the only place that I can think of that it would have happened. Meanwhile, in the TCRs, it is Andrew Pike in P1, followed by Craig Twardock in P2. Mauro Gabbiati, the Italian, 10 seconds behind Pike here. So Pike is going to be an absolute rain master, it seems like. We see one of the Kukas crew just jumping over the curb. And Francesco Carduolo in P4. Then we find Daniel Merchant. Then this man, Tom Davidson, in P6. Our championship leader, well, that's not where he's going to be at the end of all of this. He's now down in P6 with 33.5 seconds to Andrew Pike. He's being followed by Paul Sins and Quinton Van Weingarten with Vincenzo Sagnito. Oh dear. Wait. Samuel Kremer's trying to go up the inside there, and bouncing over the speed bumps is Jamie Nuttall, but it looks like now Kremer's is going to try and find a way through unless the throttle says no, and he almost broke traction there. How lucky he was to get away with that, just lift himself back off the throttle because he knew the car could not do that. But yeah, just trying to go through the standings, and of course there's still things happening out on the racetrack. In terms of drivers that have pitted, Janis Wenzel has come into the pits very recently. The German driver drops down to 8th now, and we now look at the highest Italian driver in the field, Mauro Gabbiati, taking what I think was P3 away from Francesco Carduolo for the Passione Corse team. The Audi, who's jumped 11 places since his starting position, very much on terms with Jamie Nuttall, who's gone up 13 places now. In fact, make that 40. He's just got past Kremers. But let's say with Mauro Gabbiati, just in case we see anything, because that right ahead of you is the battle for P2 here. Craig Twardop is now in view of Mauro Gabbiati. And if Gabbiati can find a way through here on the German on the Briton. Oh, he's actually gone past one of the Porsches. That was Mikołaj Wanski having a bit of a break in traction. So not the most ideal moment there. Oh no, there goes Iwanski off into the barrier and underneath the bridge. Oh, is he going to pull the car over? I think he is. I think he's decided to call it a day. Josh Hodson has come into the pits as well. Oh, my goodness me. Iwanski has decided to continue after that. Never give up and all that kind of mottoing. Let's have a look at the replay. It seems to be... Oh, big crash. 2 big crashes. That's Josh Hodson. And I think that might have been... that may be Wenzel going with him. I'm not too sure. If we can maybe get a replay on that, that would be absolutely perfect. But that could have been all sorts of horrible moments, as we see just there Bobby Moss, and there is Mikołaj Iwanski. I thought he was going to take a little bit of a trip through the gravel, but you could just see, in fact, there was one of the pieces of standing water just off the middle of Vascari. That could be such a dangerous place. And here is Wenzel, just cannot see anything, and the car just goes. Oh my goodness me! Huge accident for Janis Wenzel. Luckily, we are in simulation, because that could have been all sorts of. And that would actually, I think, if we're speaking on real terms, that would have been that could have been a change of barrier, which is not what you want. And oh dear, that's more crabbing than what you see in crab race, I think. So we catch up with the main pack here. Jamie Nuttall now just under 5 seconds to the back here of Bobby Moss. The 555 car just trying to push on forward, see if it can potentially catch at all. You see there Moss just in the foreground, just passing Gareth Ronda, being a lapped car. So we're already seemingly into a really interesting stage for this. Paul Smith, what's happened here? Can't brake. It simply just cannot brake. You know, stamps on the brake pedal, and there's no response there from Paul Smith. The brakes are locking. He's aquaplaning here. And what about Khan Nagayan in the Drive Lounge racing Porsche? Oh, he's having a bit of a moment. He's having another moment. Oh my goodness me. Slides off the road, touches the tyre barrier, and tries to accelerate out of it. And this is more than I I don't know. It's more than an ice rink. I'm genuinely getting my words kerfuffled. As we now see Piotr Dorobiala, who is, well, I want to say survived pretty well so far. I think I was about to say that, and then he started drifting a little bit wide, and I got a little bit nervous that I'd done a little bit of jinxing. But I think there's a big battle to go to. Let's have a look at Bobby Moss here and Jamie Nuttall, because look at the gap whistling down to absolutely nothing. They head their way in toward the two Lesmos. They'll head their way through the first section, in toward the second section. Two completely different characteristics of corners, and the rain really just isn't letting off. How is the traction here for Moss? We ride on board here with Jamie Nuttall. He's going to have to be very careful when he approaches fifth gear. He can see nothing, but I'm just looking at that steering wheel and just seeing if there's any rash changes of direction. He cannot see Bobby Moss, and Moss, I thought, was about to go a little bit wide, and in fact it's Nuttall playing with fire at the moment, just trying to find the clearest line around the circuit, and Moss is doing whatever he possibly can. In terms of pit stops, everyone from Dorobiala down has made a pit stop in the Porsche, so it's now Hansen, Grishka, Nuttall and Moss who have not made a stop in the Porsche Cup class. Just a quick update on the TCRs. Pike, Tordok, Gabbiati, Carduolo and Merchant have not pitted. Tom Davison has for damage. Vincenzo Sagnito has. Quinton Van Weigand hasn't. And then everyone lower than that has in fact made a stop here. So now we move on to what is Tom Davidson having a bit of a tussle here with Daniel Merchant. They're separated by 0.4 of a second right here, and that has now moved from moderately wet to extremely wet. That is, I don't know about you, but that to me is a very, very worrying sign. The downpour has opened up. The heavens have pretty much created a gap to just lash all the water down onto the surface, and Bobby Moss has made an error. Bobby Moss there in P3 has made a big, big error. And he's now dropped to P3. In fact, he hasn't made an error. He has made a pit stop. That is why he has made his way into the pits to get a mandatory stop going. So he'll look to now exit out of that chicane and just try and survive the lap. Every single lap, these drivers are trying to survive. They're just learning a piece, but also having to reward themselves, because these are awful, awful conditions out there. To a replay here of Byron Forrest pulling to the right hand side just before a Scar Parabolica, and he's just going to self-spin. Oh my goodness me, I think he has taken another driver with him. He has indeed. I'm not entirely sure who that was. We now look to Antonio Morabito. Braking very, very, very early. Somebody's gone skating across the chicane. He's just taking his time, I think, is Antonio Morabito. He does not want to risk anything. That is upon him, especially when he's in a position where he is now, that being down in 14th. That's some decent points coming up for him. Bobby Moss has managed to pick off second place here. Pavel Grishka in P3. Meanwhile, as I've just been yapping away, we are now down to 16 minutes left in this race. We've had 12 laps in this one. And now we're in for a very interesting part of this one. What about Mauro Gabbiati, who's right in the back here of Craig Twardock, second in the championship in the TCRs. What is he able to do at this range? I would not be too sure. Gabbiati is going to now try and attack for a big, big position on home soil. Meanwhile, I will give a big shout out to Abruzzi. Thank you very much, Abruzzi, for your continued partnership with the Sim Racing Collective. It has been much appreciated. Check out everything down at Abruzzi in the links below. You can check out for gloves, for boots, and for your hardware. And also, if you live in the southeast of the UK, you can also come down and see their drive lounge, which is I haven't been to, but I can assure it's absolutely wonderful. You can also use code TSRC10 to get 10% off from their gloves, boots, and teamwear. That is code TSRC10 to get 10% off. Thank you once again to Abruzzi for your continued support of the Sim Racing Collective. As Mikola Iwanski goes off the circuit, he comes back on behind Nagayan. So some really difficult moments in this one. Chat is very much being active, and I can see why. I can sense that there has been some huge moments in this one, just sliding all over the place. In fact, Iwanski has gone right off the track and decided to ditch it out for the pits. Abruzzi is a great brand. I have custom gloves, shirt, and boots. Indeed, it's such an incredible brand. Some really good stuff for all types of budget. So go and check out Abruzzi to see all of their offers. In fact, I might have to upgrade my simulator at some point, and I might actually start looking at Abruzzi. I'll start probably assessing all their stuff now. Craig Tordock still leads. Well, actually, no, it's a change of lead here because it looks like Andrew Pike has in fact made a pit stop now. So Pike has made a stop. It's just that front two in the TCRs of Tordock and Carduolo who have yet to make a stop. So I'll be interested to see what happens in this case, because it should be now leader of the pit stops, Tom Davidson. Has he come from absolutely nowhere here to put himself in a really tough position here? He's now right behind, in fact, Francesco Carduolo for the Passione Corse, and they'll head their way down towards the Ascari chicane. Looks like Jamie Nuttall will pick off the lead. Still is, as I say, in the lead, creating a gap here to Bobby Moss. And we'll have to see if he can get out ahead of the Briton by the end of the stage. So, of course, he'll come into the pits, make that top up of fuel, and then he'll maybe whistle his way into either ahead or behind Bobby Moss. He's the only one in the 2:08s and 2:09s that he's doing. Everyone else is in the 2 minutes 10 plus. That just shows the pace here of Jamie Nuttall, and he's been absolutely amazing so far. He's just got to try and keep that car on the racetrack, and there's a reason why he has almost 6k in iRacing, and it is exactly this kind of reason. Again, doesn't decide to pit because I think he knows that he can create an even further gap. He's looking at that and just with absolute joy, just watching it extend and extend and extend as Craig Twardock now comes out of the pit lane. He comes out in P3, so that is all pit stops done here for our TCRs. It's Tom Pike ahead of Tom Davidson ahead of Andrew Pike. Craig Twardock making his way out onto the circuit just ahead. I think that is, indeed it is, Mauro Gabbiati. Vincenzo Stagnito and Francesco Carduolo has just just made up fourth down to sixth. Meanwhile, their compatriot of Antonio Morabito is down there in P14. Nick Clibbens is in ninth. He's had a really difficult race so far, especially for his kind of his sake. Finishing 7th and 4th in the last two races. It's been very up and down for Nick Clibbens, but oh, you could just see the way the car is oscillating around, under braking. He's just trying to survive, because the way these cars work is that when you press down on the brake, I believe they have front brakes, but they're also kind of front managed as well. So, you know, all the power is going to those front tyres. So that kind of creates a bit of a difficult moment where, you know, you brake, your nose goes down, and then the rear just goes completely light, which is not what you need whatsoever. So you're just trying to battle away and keep the steering straight, and then you're able to try and work it out from there. So the Porsche class looks like this. It's Jamie Nuttall ahead of Bobby Moss, ahead of Samuel Kremers, who rounds out your top three. Piotr Dorobiala up 2, with Adam Sinecki and then Pavel Grishka for the Kukats crew. Then comes James Radford from Johansson, Kandagayan, Mikołaj Iwanski, Tony Preston, Hodson, Wenzel, Rudnicki. Hodson is the last of the giant on track. Oh dear, there goes Mav Gardner, and the Scottish driver is into the wall. Oh, and that's going to see him back to the pit lane. That's another retirement. Hodson, Wenzel, Rudnicki, Norton, Blankensteiner, Marquez. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh dear, oof. Gets innocently hit by the Porsche on the right. Spins and then has to check up. Gets hit from behind. And that spells the end of his race. He joins Antonio Morabito, Byron Forrest, and Daniel Ball. Byron and Daniel Ball in the retirement. Wenzel, Rudnicki, Norton, Blankenstein, and Marquez are your DNFs in the Porsches. As Bobby Moss now looks to try and make his way past Fabio. Looks like Francesco Carduolo, in fact. I don't know why I said Fabio. We don't know even a Fabio in here. 8 minutes, 30 seconds remaining left on the clock, and that is a very exposed hood there from what seems to be Iwanski, Nicola Iwanski in P10 there. So he's going to have to struggle around with that damage that he's got on the race car. We now look here to Bobby Moss as he made an error hard on the brakes now. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Rear gone. Not quite saved. Off. That would have been a big old hit onto the sausage curbs, and that's a lot of curbing. I'm surprised that didn't break the car at some stage. It may have even done, but you know, as long as it's not evident, then it's not really it's not really something to worry about. Until that steering is pretty much bent, it's not really something to keep an eye out for. About Kandagayan around the last corner, things do start to simmer down a bit. You can remember looking back to lap 1, that was a very, very leery moment. In fact, a couple of moments, a whole montage. I think we could definitely get like a good compilation out of this one. Jamie Nuttall into the pit lane then. So he is going to be exiting with a 40-second gap before he came in. I think he's going to exit with about 8 seconds of a gap to Bobby Moss. Now, there is the Hyundai of Mauro Gabbiati, the highest ranked Italian driver at the moment, trying to push on there. He's seemingly struggling. He's, I think, a good 4 seconds to Craig Tordock for the podium. So it's once again the TSRC esports drivers really making up the top 3 once again. I'd love to tell you the amount of points that they have managed to accumulate as a team over the course of these 3 races, but yeah, it would be quite the calculation to try and make. So now Nuttall has come out. I said 8 seconds. Try 13. It's nearly 13 seconds to the back of, well, from the front bumper of Moss, the rear bumper of Nuttall. So that is quite the gap there, which Nuttall will try and maybe extend it that little bit. Bobby Moss continuing in the, well, he actually did a 2:15, so he made a massive error last time around. So we enter the final 6 minutes here at Monza. So expect to have about 2 or 3 laps remaining around here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, and a soaking wet Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. As we now look back with Kaan Nagayan, who is trying to battle away here with Lenny Hansen, the wheelchair racing up against the drive lounge racing. Breton against the Polish driver. This is the battle for 8th place here. Nagayan has had a bit of a difficult race, but still right in the mix with the rest of the crew. This is, I think, one of the closest battles we've got out on the racing circuit, which is why it is currently being shown. Just seeing there now, what will Hansen do? Because I think these drivers have managed to adapt. It's taken a long time, about half an hour, for them to adapt. But overall, they are in a really, really top position. I think these guys have been doing really, really well. Some better than others. But yeah, it's just been a little bit of what feels like a big struggle bus. It has felt like a big old struggle bus, I think, for absolutely everyone. So they have really been able to just try and push on forward. Let's have another replay here. This is Josh Hodson. Down in towards the first corner. Grabs a little bit of grass. Oh dear, that's not what you want to be doing. Save it, save it, save it, save it, save it. Oh my goodness me. Has indeed saved it. The damage levels. I wonder. I do wonder. Oh dear, that looks like it's crabbing a little bit. It looks like one of the toes are too far in. Look at that in the background. Someone else has decided to drift off there. That looks to potentially maybe be at, yeah, no, it can't be Wenzel. That might be a completely different driver, but we are in for a really, really good finish here. I think the gaps are just extending very, very far out in the Porsches. Meanwhile, in the TCR, the closest battle is Quinten van Wijngaarden and Daniel Merchant in 9th and 10th, as Pavel Grishka comes into pit lane. That for the first time, it seems to be. Looks like there is the one on his name, so he'll exit the lane and in P7. Hands over a place there to James Radford. And this has been such a hardly contested race. So much has happened, so much to look out for. These drivers just being at the peak of practice, the peak of concentration. And even them, it's just not being the easiest for them. Definitely hope for a better run, but for the next round. But when you see Bathurst coming up next, that doesn't spell a lot of confidence for drivers. What about Paul Smith? He's had a moment down into water number 1. You see the rear already starting to move around, and then brakes, slows down, but it is already too late, and he just goes, I don't know what a chicane is, to be fair. He misses the first part of it, goes round the second, and then into the third. The final 2 minutes of this race here. Nagayan in his Porsche. Number 21 driver just trying to work his way around. Jamie Nuttall, has he had a bit of an issue? No, he's halfway around the lap here. As he's looking to maybe even come up to lap Nagayan and Lenny Hansen. But he's right behind, in fact, the one of our drivers. And he just crawls his way around. Takes a little bit of curbing for good measure. And on towards the back straight now. Jamie Nuttall's, there were people in comments saying that Jamie Nuttall is in fact, not a robot. Well, this might just disprove it here. He has been an absolute master in the wet conditions. And the championship leader regains his crown after a podium-less Virginia International Raceway. He's back with a bang in the soaking Monza. Jamie Nuttall is your winner here at Monza. What a result. And they will head over the timing beam. And what a commanding victory. I don't have enough superlative for that. That was just second to none. He was taking bites out of other drivers like he was eating a crumpet from your morning crumpet. Looks like Piotr Dorobiala again skipping the chicane. Oh dear, have I called it early? I have. I do apologise. I do hugely apologise. I have called it early. I've now got to try and figure out how I don't try and jinx Jamie Nuttall in this. I saw the 2 minutes. I was like, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. Now it's ticked down to 0. And I think for the first time in my commentary career, I have just embarrassed myself. Definitely the first time. Probably not the last. I think if there's kind of a place to do it, it's in sim racing rather than on an actual big stage like like a Donington Park or a Brands Hatch, which I've covered before. I'm heading off to Olsen Park later on this year, so I better not be doing that. But he's trying to scare me, I think, is Jamie Nuttall skating onwards towards the Ascari, but the control of this big powerful Porsche is just being unbelievable. Should we give this a second run then? Well, I think so, because we're now starting to get to this final section of racetrack. Tom Davidson, I think, will finish ahead. He will be our winner in the TCRs. But for the second time this season, Jamie Nuttall takes the victory here in a soaking Monza. Unbelievable. What a fantastic victory from the master from the Cracked Racing team. Bobby Moss will come home 23 seconds adrift, and that just goes to show the difference between a driver with 3k and almost 6k in iRacing. Unreal stuff. Bobby Moss will take a podium place here at Monza, his second podium, his second place in a row. And now we wait for Samuel Kremers, who I think has been in the wall multiple times during the course of this event, trying to break in towards Michele Alboreto, but the car is just trying to say, nope, I can't do that, but he's just forcing it anyway. The final podium place will go to Samuel Kremers, and we'll jump him right up the field here. I think that will pretty much put him in the top 10 of the championship. And we now wait for Tom Davidson in the Sim Racing Collective esports team. He will lead a trio of the Sim Racing Collective esports drivers. That's being followed by Andrew Puttick and Craig Twardock, who have already finished over the timing line. Our highest rated Italian is Mauro Gabbiati, finishing home in P4, up 6 from his starting position. Unbelievable stuff. And even then, Francesco Carduolo, 6th place for him, up 9 places in what has been a superb effort from the home hero. Somebody has managed to dig themselves into the gravel, I think. I don't know if that's the previous finisher or if that is being someone's board. We're just waiting now for Pavel Grishka, who's crossing the line now. He has now confirmed his 6th place on the road, and he's going to say, nope, I am absolutely done. But your winner in the TCR class, Tom Davidson, makes it 2 wins for the season. And what an unbelievable finish. Makes it 3 out of 3 podiums, 100% for the Briton. Oh, he's going to hit the barrier, damage the car, and hopefully that will not affect his iRating whatsoever. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to be doing over the line. Well, Monza has really given us a one to remember. If you need an idea on what this race is like, there is your pictures. The rain puddles has been second to none. around this circuit. It has just been like this since the dawn of qualifying. Here are your race results then. Jamie Nuttall is your winner in the Porsche Cup class ahead of Bobby Moss and Samuel Kremers. Piotr Dorobiana and Adam Sinecki then moves to the Porsche class, making gains there with the 4th and 5th place. Pavel Grishka for the Kukos crew, followed by Lenny Hansen, James Radford, Khan Nagayan finishing home in 9th, and Mikola Iwanski rounding out the top 10, followed by Josh Hodgson, Tony Preston, Janos Wenzel, Charlie Rudnicki, and then we find our retirements. Sorry, I just forgot to mention there. Retirements: Wenzel, Rudnicki, Norton, Blankensteiner, and Diogo Marquez, rounding off your DNFs in the Porsche Cup class. What about our TCR? Tom Davidson is your winner, lapping everyone. I'm not kidding you in that one. I did not see that one. I think he has, in fact, lapped everyone. Andrew Pike there in P2, followed by Craig Twardock. Then following with Mauro Gabbiati, the highest ranked Italian, followed by Vincenzo Stagnito and Francesco Carduolo, with Nick Clibbins and Daniel Merchant. Quinton van Bijengarden had a little bit of problems during this one. He's had a great run of results, 4th, 5th. This 9th place won't help it, but it will be so far his drop score. Gareth Ronda grounds at the top 10. Paul Sims, followed by Paul Smith, and then retirements for Antonio Morabito, from Mav Gardner, Byron Forrest, and Daniel Ball rounds out your 16 entries in the TCR class, and that will be it. Let's very quickly move on to Canada. In case you weren't here at the beginning of the broadcast, what do we have up next? We've had Jerez, we've had VIR, we've had Monza. We are heading in towards the second half of the championship. We will take on the mountain, the great peak that is Bathurst. How will the racing be there? I hope peak. Long Beach for round 5. The street circuits fabled in IndyCar and IMSA. Folklore with Interlagos Grand Prix going to be our final round of the season, and an unbelievable calendar to go with. We are now just going to very quickly wait on interviews here before we get anyone potentially. Drivers have had what seems to be a lot of fun in the chat. Some fantastic comments going on down there. In the end, that will be it. Doesn't look like anyone is up for a chat. So from myself here, Adam Reed, and everyone at the Sim Racing Collective, take care, good night, and we'll see you mountainside when the Abruzzi Tin Top Sprint Series heads to Bathurst. Don't miss it.